Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this discussion of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. We hope it will be both informative and helpful. But first, our apologies for not being there in person and sending you this remote greeting. It was not at all what we had intended. But last Friday, after what was supposed to be a routine medical checkup, Brewster's doctor ordered him not to travel because his heart was acting strangely. The risks were substantial, too great for us to leave before the doctor could be sure that his treatment was effective. So here we are, still at home in Ottawa, very sad not to be with you and not able to share with you in person our concerns about the TPP and to learn firsthand about your concerns. We hope, nevertheless, that we can make a contribution to a wise decision regarding Japan's engagement with the TPP. Brewster.
I was surprised and delighted when my old friend and colleague Ray invited us to come to Hokkaido to share with you our concerns about the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And I'm also very sorry that we are unable to be with you in person. Nevertheless, I am content to have Ray be my voice to deliver the lecture which I had prepared for you. My friendship with Ray goes back 25 years to a time when he was working in Winnipeg and agriculture on the Canadian prairies was in a debt crisis. Mm-hmm. Farmers were losing their farms to the banks, and Ray and I, and a few others, were trying to convince them that they would be better off if their land were actually in a land trust rather than in debt to the banks. At the same time, there was a growing interest in local food activities, and we were trying to encourage various local initiatives, such as community shared agriculture, with which some of you may be quite familiar. Ray and I have kept track of each other ever since, in spite of living on opposite sides of the world. By way of introduction to the lecture that Ray will deliver on my behalf, let me say that the Trans-Pacific Partnership may be called a partnership, but it is not about equitable and just relations between people and states. It is not about creating an economy that is designed to serve the needs of the people fairly and ecologically. Like every other trade agreement, the TPP is about granting privileges to corporations so that they conduct their businesses wherever and however they choose to. The responsibility of the states, the partners, is to recognize and enforce those corporate privileges. And this is supposed to be good for all of us. It would be more accurate, however, to describe the resulting relationships between transnational corporations and states as colonial. Mm-hmm. The actual colonizers being the transnational corporations such as Monsanto and Cargill. The states, such as Japan, are to function as the guarantors and enforcers of corporate privilege. It is, after all, corporate welfare, not the welfare of the people, that is the objective of the TPP. For Japan, participation in this deal would mean the virtual elimination of any food self-sufficiency, including in rice. But Cargill would be happy to import rice for you from Texas or California. And Cargill would also be happy to supply you with pork and beef from its own factories in the US, or perhaps Canada. And New Zealand, well, New Zealand would be happy to supply you with all your dairy needs. But the TPP would go much further than that. It would require all public institutions to allow foreign corporations to bid on all public, that is, government contracts, such as for school food programs and health care. Foreign corporations would have to be treated as nationals, meaning the same as any Japanese company. One of the most crucial aspects of the TPP would be its effect on genetic engineering and patenting of seeds. While most of the food consumed in the world today is grown on small farms with farm-safe seeds, it is the aim of a small handful of corporate seed giants, such as Monsanto and Syngenta, to gain control of the global food system through genetic engineering and patenting of food crops. The TPP is designed to help them achieve that objective. Monsanto seeds, however, are not designed for ecological agriculture. They are designed for energy-intensive industrial monoculture production, which is a disaster for everything except corporate profits. The harmonization, as they call it, of regulations is also intended to aid corporate takeover. For both pharmaceuticals and genetic engineering, the TPP seeks to minimize health, safety, and environmental regulations. In fact, in Canada, the regulatory process is now referred to as the approval process to reflect its subservience to corporate interests. And the government is eager to approve all new biotech products without adequate testing. Canada may be on the other side of the world, but Canada's current government is totally committed to the corporate sector, and the TPP would be just as bad for Canada as for Japan. Kathleen.
Here in Canada, we have some previous experience with trade deals. Now we're facing both the TPP and CETA, the Canada-European Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, which is on the same model as TPP but with Europe. In every case, it's clear that our government tries to ignore the concerns of the population. They can only do this if we stay quiet. Then they can marginalize the opposition and carry on with their program. It is our hope that the discussion this afternoon will help you understand what is really at stake in this trade deal for the Japanese people. We hope that you will be able to raise questions in your communities, in your organizations, and to speak out with a clear voice in opposition to government propaganda. We hope that you will join your voices with people around the world who are calling for food sovereignty, to say that corporate domination and control of our food system is bad for all of us. Food sovereignty means that we put our energies into building local food systems and local economic systems that are sustainable and equitable and ecologically sound in solidarity with people around the world. We look forward to the day when trade takes second place to taking care of our own people. Or as Brewster once said, that we feed the family and trade the leftovers. Right, Brewster?
Right. And once again, thank you so much for inviting us to be here with you. And please accept our profound apologies that we're not with you in person. Now, over to my trusted friend, Ray.